Hello everybody and welcome to I think it's the 12th episode. I may be wrong, but I think it's the 12th episode of Old Crow Hiking Show. So I've got Keith with Gone Feral with Squidly. He's with me we're at the Sipsey Wilderness, and we decided just at the spur of the moment to do an overnight in Sipsey. So yep. Excited to just kind of hang out, and tomorrow we're going to be doing about a 21 mile loop, right?
About 21.
So that's going to be fun to just kind of kill some miles, hopefully, tomorrow, hang out on the trail. So thank you, Keith, for agreeing to do this.
Man, I'm all about it.
All right.
I'm just glad I'm not number 13.
That's right. We'll probably skip 13 and just go to 14. Keith, you ready?
Yep, let's go.
All right. How'd you get started in backpacking?
Well, it goes back to 93. So
93.
Yeah, I've been doing this for a while. I always knew, going back to being a kid, that I wanted to be out in the woods, that this is what I wanted to do. And it wasn't until in 93 I turned 24. So it wasn't until a little bit later that I actually got an opportunity to do it. I was in college still, and I was kind of in a funk, and I thought, all right, I'm just going to go. And so I packed up whatever I had and whatever I could press into service and just took off, and nothing that I had really worked that well. But as it turned out, I realized that it's really not all about the gear and all that. It's just the experience, being out in the woods. And what I found out was that it's a healing place.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great place to come just to work on your soul and your mind and your spirit.
Absolutely. That's a good answer. Okay, so second question I have for you is, how did you get your, oh, this is a great one, because I know this from past experience hiking. How did you get your trail names? This is a great story, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got it, first of all, because I was in the Navy. Being in the Navy, the name that they use for Navy, for sailors is squids. There's a great parallel between sailors being called squids and hikers being called hiker trash. Or Marines being called jarheads. It was kind of a pejorative to begin with, but sailors sort of took squids as, instead of pejorative, yeah, we're going to own that one. When I got out of the Navy, went back into college, and a lot of the people that I already knew and then now new friends, they started calling me Squid, and Squid lasted about a week. And one person said something about it was a squidly thing to do, and my name from then on became Squidly.
Okay.
And I got called Squidly by those guys even today. They will, without knowing that I have a backpacking channel called Squidly, they will answer the phone and say, "Hey, Squidly."
So the name was even before you were backpacking?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That goes before I was backpacking. But once I became a backpacker, it just sort of made sense of having a trail name and it being a name that I'm already called.
Yeah. And then gone feral, meaning
just
out in the wild.
Yeah, that's right.
So cool name. So in the Navy for how long?
A total of 6 years, including my reserve time.
Oh, okay. All right. So it's somewhat fitting, not Veterans Day, but Memorial Day. That's tomorrow.
Yeah. Veterans Day is mine. Mm-hmm. Memorial Day is not mine.
Memorial Day is for the people who have passed.
People who didn't take the uniform off.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
What is your current kind of go-to big three? Tent, backpack, and sleeping bag or quilt or whatever? Yeah,
that's usually a pretty easy question, because usually if I've got a trip going, I'm gonna grab the same three. For my backpack, it's the Z-Packs Arc Haul. That's gonna be the pack that I'm gonna grab. And my sleeping bag, I have two of these, but it's the Hike and Bike Aeolus line there, but I've got two different temperature ratings, but it'll be one of those. For my tent, it's usually the Gossamer Gear of the two. Now for this summer, I'm doing something a little bit different. After a trip this summer, I'll go back to being the Gossamer Gear.
Okay, all right. Yeah, a great tent. What is your favorite trail?
That depends. Probably the same with every backpacker. I could give you 3 different answers. I did a video called My Favorite Trail. It was a part of the collaboration with the group, and the one that I chose was the one that was close to home. It was the Tashka Trail at Lake Lurleen State Park, and just because it's close to home. Another favorite is here in the Sipsey Wilderness.
Absolutely.
Because there's so many things that you can do here. You can come here to make some miles, or you can come here just for the camp experience. And then also the Pinhoti Trail.
Yeah.
That's also one of my favorites. So that's not real. You're not going to pin me down to one trail.
No, that's okay, because us being Bama boys, the Pinhoti and the Sipsey are standards, I guess.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Oh, this is a good one. So what is your favorite specific part of backpacking, or what just brings you back every time?
Well, it's almost like going back to that previous answer, where it's a place to come, whichever trail I'm on, to go and let the troubles of the day just go away. But there's also, to get sort of precise about something with backpacking, I really like the camp experience.
I do too. There's something about just between 4 in the morning and when the sun comes up, that quiet time where I'm a little bit awake and just kind of enjoy the quiet and the birds and the sun and everything. I love that part of camping. Yeah. So I hear you. I like the camping stuff too. What is the least favorite part of backpacking? I mean, I know everything's fun and games, but there's something that's usually kind of annoying about it.
I could give you two.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah,
okay.
Give us two, yeah.
So the one that's probably the most common for me is the creatures that scare me. And they're not big. It's all the small stuff. It's the mosquitoes and the ticks.
Yeah.
I hate them.
Yes, ticks.
And you're not going to get me to change my mind on that. So that's something to me that's annoying about backpacking, is all the small creatures that just drive me nuts.
Yeah.
The other thing that is kind of annoying is when I'm just about out of water, or I am out of water, and I'm not sure where the next water source is or how far away it is, and you're like, okay, I don't know how long I'm going to be thirsty, but apparently it's going to be a little while.
That's a good answer. I hadn't thought about that, but that is annoying to me when I'm too lazy to filter and I missed a spot and I keep going. I should have filtered.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah, I don't know why they can't put convenient water spigots along the way. I don't know.
If you're not backpacking, what do you do for fun other than backpacking?
There's a handful of things. One, I do like kayaking.
Oh, yeah.
And mostly what I do with kayaking is not what most people think of as kayaking. I do a lot of flat water. Because where I live, there's a handful of lakes, and of course in Alabama there are no natural lakes; they're all man-made. Yeah. But there's a handful of lakes around me, and I like to go and take a float on some flat water. The other thing is, and this is going to sound like the hokiest answer ever. In my family, I really enjoy the company of my wife and kids.
Oh, good. Yeah.
I really just enjoy being around them. Now, they probably don't feel the same way. In fact, they often don't reciprocate.
I know that feeling. I know exactly what you're talking about, because I've got a 14-year-old son right now, and sometimes he likes me, sometimes he doesn't like me. I just never know day to day.
I'm not cool.
Well, that's a great answer. Let's go to kind of a quick response. You may not be into any of these things, but if you are, let me know what's your favorite book, your favorite movie, and your favorite TV show. Okay,
with books, I'd rather give you an author.
Okay.
Michael Crichton.
Oh, yeah.
Man, I guess I first discovered Crichton as an author, and he goes back to the early 70s or maybe even late 60s as an author. Yeah. But I first discovered him when the first Jurassic Park came out. I think that was like 93 or something. Yeah. And so I read that and then realized, oh, wow, this guy's good, and realized he had a ton of books. And so I just started consuming Michael Crichton books and really got into it. TV shows, I really like As the Crow Flies Hiking on YouTube.
No, okay, all right. It's low budget. Like this, it's low budget.
The truth is, I really don't watch a whole lot of TV.
Yeah.
And so I really couldn't give you much of an answer on that.
Us as YouTubers, like that, I think all YouTubers just watch YouTube videos.
I consume a lot of YouTube.
A lot of YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay, and then movie?
Movie? Boy, I'm really eclectic on that because I'm kind of all over the place.
I'll have to get the definition. He's a school teacher, so I don't even know what that word means.
All right, let me. Oh, I started to say something ugly. Let me not go there. I started to say, let me dumb it down for Crow. I like action.
Okay.
I like to see stuff blow up.
Okay.
Just gratuitous blowing up stuff.
Okay. Well, then
So Broken Arrow was great because
Broken Arrow. Okay.
They were blowing up helicopters about every third frame.
What has been your scariest moment on trail, if you had any misadventures?
Yeah, I've had several misadventures. In fact, I had a video called "Why the Trail Hates Me" because the trail hates me.
I'll put a link to that below. Good video.
But I guess the scariest thing, it was a trip in the Smokies. We had a day where we were going to be hitting a good many miles. Well, we stopped kind of mid-morning. There was a shelter that we stopped at, and we just stopped to get a drink of water, maybe a snack or whatever. And we met another group that was there from Sweden. We took off ahead of them, and there was a rattlesnake that was just mad. and right in the middle of the trail, and it was a portion of trail that was steep up going right here and steep down going right here. There was no way to get around it. And so we backed off waiting for this snake to kind of cool off a little bit, and it just never would. Well, the Swedes came up behind us. They spoke really good English, but with a pretty heavy accent, and just asked, okay, what happens if this snake bites us? And of course the answer was, you may be dead before you get to help. Yeah. And I'm not sure that's necessarily the case. I just wanted to make sure they were taking it seriously.
Taking it serious, yeah.
We backed up and we waited, and I bet you we waited 45 minutes, and this thing did not even slow down with the rattling, making it clear this is my trail and leave me alone. After about 45 minutes or an hour, we just said, look, we got to get going. We literally touched it with a 10-foot pole. I got a limb, and the idea was, scoop under it just enough and flip it off on the downhill side of the trail. Well, I got under it, and this thing was striking at the stick, and I got under it, and I thought, I got him. And just as I flipped it, the stick hit a stump, and so instead of flipping him into oblivion, he flipped about 2 feet. And now he's real mad. So we decided that if we ran past him, we would be going fast enough that he wouldn't have an opportunity. Plus, he was downhill a little bit. Yeah, yeah. And so we, one at a time, ran with my group and the Swedes. Once that was over, boy, the heart rate was up.
That's crazy that the thing just wouldn't give in
at all. Wow. It had no intention of quitting.
If somebody came to you and was getting into backpacking or kayaking or any outdoor activity, what advice would you give them as they're getting started or trying to get better at it?
Don't consume a lot of YouTube. At the beginning.
Good idea, yeah.
Consume a little bit, kind of just to get a feel for it, but don't overdo it with the YouTube, because you'll get the idea there's only one way to do it, and that is not true.
That is good advice.
Yeah, so that's the first thing. The second thing is find somewhere close to home. And in fact, when we got here, I was telling Crow, the Sipsey for me was that place. It was pretty close to home, and I would come in and just hike in a couple of miles and figure out what was working, what wasn't working, and then start working on all of my gear from there. The worst thing you can do is get into it and think that on your first trip, you're going to do a 50-mile trip that's multiple nights. Now, that's probably not realistic. The best thing is to just get your feet wet and get into it gradually.
Well, that's great advice. Keith, thank you so much. Appreciate you agreeing to do this. Thank y'all guys for watching this 12th or 13th? No, it's 12th. It's 12th. The 12th edition of Old Crow Hiking Show. These things will be coming out periodically. I've just kind of spread them out so you don't get too tired of them. But what a great interview with Keith, with Squidly, Gone Feral with Squidly. So thank you, Keith. Appreciate you joining us. And I will see you on the next episode of either As a Crow Flies Hiking or this crazy interview stuff I'm doing, Old Crow Hiking Show. Thank you guys for joining us.